Howdy, House District 60 coming to you from Salem, just finishing up week 12. Week 12 is pretty important as it was the first policy chamber deadline. So, as of Wednesday, every policy bill that was in a policy committee had to be worked by Wednesday night. So, we went from 4,000 bills probably down to 1,500 bills or something, which is a good thing. It was pretty intense. Climate and energy on Tuesday, we had 28 bills that we were trying to work sessions on in a 2 hour period of time. Uh, some of those bills we were big supporters of. One of them was a nuclear study bill to make Oregon Department of Energy study how nuclear energy could be put into Oregon. If we're truly going to try to decarbonize while maintaining affordable electric rates, we have to have base load. And I'm a strong supporter of nuclear energy. And it's not the 1970s nuclear energy that we had. I mean, there's small nuclear reactors. There's all kinds of things that we can do it safely, efficiently, and actually have a lot of resiliency built into our system. There is one specifically for Umatilla that actually allows the county to look at a small nuclear reactor, which is happening right across the border in Washington to power some of the data centers. So there's some good bills that made it through climate and energy. There was, for the first time too, there was some partisan bills that went through climate and energy. I want to give a shout out to Chair Lively. He's done a great job of managing that committee. Uh, wide and broad views of what needs to happen with climate and energy in Oregon. And John is a very strong, moderate Democrat and did a good job of handling that. I just want to give him a shout out. Ag and everything else. We worked a lot of bills too. I mean, on Wednesday was our last committee hearing there before the session deadline. We worked 17 bills on Wednesday. Some of those we've talked about in the past. One that we've talked about in the past that we worked on Monday actually was House Bill 3800. It's the bill for the Harney Basin to work with the community on some volunteer and some regulatory actions for groundwater. We moved that to rules as we're working on a -2 and -3 amendment. Going to sit down with the agricultural stakeholders, with committee members, and make sure we get that right and start working that more in the community. Had a lot of community input on it, but make sure that those in the community understand what we're trying to propose. Look forward to that conversation moving on. One that I believe I brought up last video was the exempt use. The House Bill 3372. Before session, I met with quite a few residents from Harney County at a food resilience that High Desert Partnership put on, and Kelly Frank talking about how they've set up some programs where people can grow products for farmers markets, like a lot of communities do around the state, and that they came across a roadblock about 1.5 years ago, or sometime last summer, that Oregon Water Resource Department started regulating those that were selling produce at farmers markets if they didn't have a water right. So in Oregon, the exempt use statute allows 15,000 gallons a day, a ½ acre of lawn, a ½ acre of non-commercial garden, and 5,000 gallons for commercial activity, plus quite a few other things. But the commercial activity exclusion or exemption does not allow you to grow a commercial garden. What we did is we took that ORS and we proposed that we would allow 3,000 gallons of water to be used daily on no more than a ½ acre for a commercial garden. That would go into that 5,000 gallon commercial activity exemption. We also limited the amount of water that you could irrigate on a ½ acre lawn or ½ acre non-commercial garden to 3,000 gallons a day also. Because there's no agronomic reason to have to use more water than that any place in Oregon on that lawn or those gardens, ½ acre commercial or ½ acre or less non-commercial. Unfortunately, Farm Bureau has some opposition to it because they feel that if you're going to take anything for commercial activity, even if it's under ½ acres, you should have a water right. And I understand that position. Some of my colleagues shared that position too, and some of them didn't. We did get it out of committee. It's going to go to the House floor, and I just think it's a common sense solution to try to figure out how we can have food resilience and celebrate even those that want to have a small greenhouse in the back and want to take things to a farmer's market. When you look at agriculture in Oregon, we've been on a mission, those of us that are in agriculture, to figure out how we can get Oregonians to understand where their food comes from. And farmers market's a great way. You can share the story with, whatever you're growing, whether it's watermelons to jalapenos to carrots to you name it. And the kids that come in there and the families that come in there, you can talk to them that, agriculture is not bad. Uh, Kind of disappointing in the hearing is that there seems to be a battle brewing between some of our very smallest farmer organizations, some of our larger farmer organizations that, you know, one group of farmers does something better than the other. And I actually told them to stop the rhetoric. I mean, all farmers and all of us in agriculture need to work together. Not one segment, whether it's very micro farm or small greenhouse to a large family farm, need to be competing against each other, saying one is better than the other. We need all the agriculture we can in Oregon while using water sustainably. So I'll keep you posted on House Bill 3372, the exempt use one, but did make it out of committee. Um, we have the transportation package came out, I think, in the last week, probably about the time I was doing the video and didn't update you. The transportation package, the last one that was done in Oregon was 2017. We expected one to come out in 2025. We expected it to come out a couple months ago, but there was quite a bit of delays on what should be the scope of the transportation package. Well, it got released, and what it does is it basically calls for $1.8 billion in more revenue for ODOT. No doubt ODOT's expenses have gone up. They haven't finished a lot of the projects that they promised in the 2017 package. As we know, in Eastern Oregon, they've been threatening and reducing maintenance. We need to figure something out. We also need to figure out accountability for ODOT. Unfortunately, the package doesn't have any accountability. Unfortunately, the package doesn't make ODOT audit, figure out how they can best serve Oregonians with the funding they have before they propose to increase gas tax by 20 cents, which I cannot support. Increase registration fees. I believe Oregon's already, number 5 in the highest registration fees across the United States, and they want to increase them by, I think, by $91 per cycle. It's tough. It's tough. Budgets are priorities. We spend a lot of general fund on a lot of things that aren't priorities for, I think, for House District 60, and we need to figure out how to use the funding that we have wisely in the state, and some of that should go to the equity maintenance of our roads that the state owns. So I'll keep you posted on that, but commitment that I can't support gas tax raises. I can't support increasing revenue for Oregonians that disproportionately affects us in rural Oregon because we drive more miles. We pay more gas tax than anybody else. So I'll keep you posted there. It was a little disappointing to me the way it came out. Getting ready to go up to Grande, the Ways and Means on Friday. So headed there shortly. Hope to see some of community members in Grande voicing what they would like to see in capital construction projects, to the policy that has funding requirements. I believe Idaho Partnership is going to be there. Some commissioners are going to be there, and just some local community members. So I look forward to that interaction here shortly. I was fortunate enough to tour some of the flooding in Burns with the governor. I want to, thank her for coming out, thank her for meeting with folks, figuring out what needs to occur. Shout out to the county court, shout out to the city of Burns. They've been working with me on some capital construction requests. How do we get the sewer fixed? How do we get the levee up to date, maybe even certified? I've been working with Rep. Smith, who's probably the lead on the House Republican side on Ways and Means, to figure out whether we can actually try to get some emergency funding and not have to wait through the whole process. Because the city has done an evaluation already of what their need is just to repair the sewer. The county's put out some significant funds in order to get the levee patched. So I'll keep you updated on that. But just wanted to thank the governor for taking some time to go out to Burns on Thursday afternoon and spend some time with the community. That was good. I'll see you next week, week 13. Be safe.